Okay. My favorite band, well, I can't deny the fact that, yes, Rush is my all-time favorite band of all time. And I know a lot of people might say, Chris, why? Because they were the first band I ever saw. I have to pick Rush as my favorite band of all time. So I had to pick Rush as my all-time favorite band. And Rush will always be my all-time favorite band. It just stinks that I could not see them 10 times. Because I would have loved to see Rush 10 times. That was my goal. That was my dream, was to get to 10, and I'm not going to be able to do it, sadly. So it stinks, but yeah. Um, yeah, uh, it just stinks that I'll never get to see Rush 10 times, but it is what it is. But they'll always be my favorite band. So um, before I start with my next story, where my brother and I and my nephews always play this little silly game, I wanted to bring you guys a little something that I always like to do. So let's start with the very first tour, which is what got me into Rush, R30. Now, these songs, I had to pick a song that was my favorite and a song that was my least favorite. With this one, I'm going to pick my least favorite song. And I know a lot of people are like, what? Why would you pick this as your least favorite song? You got to remember, I don't remember this song too well when I heard it live, so I had to do it. It's not my least favorite, it's just I don't remember it too well. So my least favorite song from R30, and no, I don't hate this song. No, do not blame me. I don't hate this song, but I just don't remember it too well, is Earthshine. I don't hate it, so don't be like, what the heck? How do you not like Earthshine? I don't hate it. It's just I don't remember it. So, and I have to pick a different song. So I'm going to pick Earthshine as my least favorite. My favorite of all time for this one, because of the fact that I remember the video, and the video was so cool, I got to pick Roll the Bones. I have to pick Roll the Bones. So, because I love the skeleton, I love what they did to in R30. And that was one of the few things I do remember from the R30 tour, was the Roll the Bones video. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. And the good thing is, I remember R30. I remember going in there. At the time, Joe and I were friends, and Joe knew Bytor and the Snow Dog before I did. I was just getting into the band, so I pretty much only knew the greatest hits. But I remember telling Joe, like, oh my God, YYZ, I know that song. He's like, you do? I don't. And obviously today Joe would know YYZ, but back then Joe didn't know YYZ, and I did. And back then he knew Bytor and I didn't. Now I obviously know Bytor, but back then I didn't know Bytor and he did. So it was a pretty cool tour. I got to go with my brother. At the time, my friend and I did not have cell phones, so we just had to somehow meet up with my brother. But we met up with my brother Pat, his friend Brian, and then Scott Hoffman. And I guess my brother was pissed because Scott Hoffman didn't even buy him a sub. What a douche. He drove him, and he's like, oh, I can't even buy you a sub. Like, I know my brother always tells me that all the time. Like, oh, if people drive, you should at least pay for parking. Which I do agree. Usually I'm good with that, so I'm pretty good with that one. All right, let's go to Snakes and Arrows. Now, the first tour I did see this was with Joe. It rained the whole day until the concert, which was cool. It stopped raining to the concert. My favorite song that I heard from the first Snakes and Arrows tour would be Armor and Sword. I liked that song. I thought it was pretty good live. My least favorite one, I don't hate this song, but if I had to pick one from the first leg, it was probably Circumstances. Again, I don't hate the song. It's just I had to pick one. For the second leg, for the second time I saw Snakes and Arrows, my least favorite one's probably Hope. And I'm not going to put this on another category, so I'm going to put Spirit of Radio. Yes, Spirit of Radio will be my favorite. My least favorite one from Time Machine Tour, just because they way overplayed it almost every tour, and I don't think it's that great. It's okay, but it's not that great, was Far Cry. It's my least favorite one. And my favorite one was Time Stand Still. I love Time Stand Still. I thought they did a great job with Time Stand Still. So, obviously, I'm going to pick Time Stand Still. So, I was very, very happy with Time Stand Still. I was happy to hear it. I remember on the first tour, I was like, they better play Time Stand Still, and they didn't. And it took me a little bit of, time to get to hear it, and luckily then I was able to hear that after the first couple tours. So I was happy to hear that. Now we go, because I did see Snakes and Arrows twice, so that's why I got two legs. Now we go to the Time Machine Tour, which I already just mentioned when I only saw him once. That was the one time I saw him with Mike Mendola. By the way, the first two times I saw Rush was at Darien Lake, and that was also the very last time I was going to see them at Darien Lake as well. Then the third time I saw Rush with Joe and my brother in the Molson Amphitheater. I remember we missed Ghost of a Chance because we were late, but that's also because they wouldn't let us in, those bastards. So I couldn't hear Ghost of a Chance. And I remember my brother got there right at 7:30, and I'm like, oh, great. And I was hoping we would get there, but nope. So, yeah, we did not get in quite on time. So I did not get to hear that song. Even my brother was kind of pissed, like, what the heck, like, let us in. It was kind of a bullshit ordeal, but oh well. All right. Now we go to Time Machine Tour, which I saw with Mike and Syracuse. So now we go to Clockwork Angels, which is the most times I saw Rush live, believe it or not. Yes, live. So it was the one I've seen Rush live the most. My favorite song that I heard for the first time was Big Money. My least favorite one, Wish Them Well. That was in Toronto. I went by myself. Second one, I went with my brother Pat and his friend Brian. Manhattan Project was my favorite. Seven Seas of Gold was my least favorite. And then I saw the third one with my nephew Michael, my brother Pat, and then Dan and Timmy were also in Hamilton, Ontario. They said in a different section. My favorite one was probably Carney's. My least favorite one was Grand Design, just because I've heard it a bunch of times. I don't hate it. So, my favorite one that I got to see with my nephew, Timmy Zackos. Actually, I'm gonna have to keep. My favorite song was Jacob's Ladder, and my least favorite one was probably I Don't Hate Distant Early Warning, but I'd have to pick that one just because they kind of messed up in the song. But my favorite one from the one, so I saw that one with my nephew Timmy in Bristow. And then, of course, the R40 tour. The last one I saw in Buffalo was with my brother-in-law Dan, my brother Pat, my nephews Michael and Timmy. Oh no, I can't do YYZ. So How It Is was probably my favorite. My least favorite one was Animate, just because I've heard it a few times. I wanted to put YYZ in there, but for whatever reason I couldn't. So yeah, I'm going to have to go back and do Animate. So I can't put YYZ in there. So yeah. All right. Now let's do a little video. Let's do a little game. Let's start with all the Rush album real quickly. While we're doing that, I'm going to do a little something while I'm here. But that's okay. So let's start with the first Rush album, shall we? Okay. So the first song I'm going to name will be my least favorite song I ever heard live from that album. It's not necessarily I hate this song, and I'll mention it when I get there, but I have to pick one song I just did not like, and then one song I did like, and then one song I really wish I could have heard live from that album that I did not hear live. So are you guys ready? So let's get to it. Let's get to the very first... Ooh, pardon me. Let's get to the very All right, I'm going to stop doing that now. Let's get to the very first album, which is none other than Rush. My least favorite song, yes, I know, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, really? You didn't like that one? Well, yeah, I'm going to say that. My least favorite one is What You're Doing. My favorite one would have to be Working Man. The one I'd want to hear live is In the Mood. Yep. Fly By Night. My favorite one would have to, my least favorite one, just because I don't remember it too well, and this is the one that Joe did, was By Tour. Plus, they didn't play the whole song, which I was kind of cheesed off about. So, yeah, I'd have to pick By Tour and the Snow Dog. My least favorite one, my least favorite one, or my favorite one was probably Anthem, and my one I'd want to hear live was Fly By Night. I wish I could hear Fly By Night. All right, my least favorite one from 2112. I know my nephew Timmy's not going to be happy with me, and I have to pick it because I only heard two 2112 songs. 2112 is my favorite. There's no question about it. I do love Passage to Bangkok, but if I had to do an elimination, I do love Passage to Bangkok, and it was so hard. But I can't put 2112 as my least favorite song live. I just can't. So it has to be Passage to Bangkok. Although I love that song. I was happy to hear it a couple times live. I know my nephew wishes he heard it live. He'll never sadly get to, unless he sees a Rush cover band. So, but 2112 is my favorite, and Passage to Bangkok is my least favorite. And Twilight Zone is probably the song that I wish I could hear live. Okay, I can't pick a least favorite song or a favorite song, so regardless of whether I want to play it as my favorite or least favorite, would have to be Lakeside Park, because it's the only song that I heard from this album. The one I'd want to hear is probably Bastille Day if I had to pick one, although I'm kind of glad I don't have to. Okay, the next one after that is none other than The Kings, I believe. Oh, actually, I went out of order in 2112 and Caress of Steel, but that's okay. Farewell the Kings. My favorite one would have to be Xanadu. My least favorite one was probably Closer the Fart, just because I'm not a big fan of that. And the one song I wish I could hear live from that is probably Farewell the Kings. Okay, my favorite song from Hemispheres is probably La Villa Strangiato. My least favorite one's probably Hemispheres Prelude, and I can't pick a song. I guess if I had to pick one, it would be the whole Hemispheres album song, just to say I heard the whole thing, but, you know, then I could say that about 2112, too, the whole song. All right, my least favorite one from Permanent Waves. Again, this is another one. I don't hate the song, but I have to pick it. My least favorite one is probably Entre Nous, and my favorite one's probably Natural Science. I could say Spirit of Radio, I could say Free Will, but it's just, yeah, it's so hard. Okay, favorite one that I heard live from, what's the album? Moving Pictures. My favorite one that I heard live from Moving Pictures is probably Limelight. My least favorite one is probably going to be Tom Sawyer, just because they played it way too much, and I was kind of getting bored and tired of hearing about it. So, yeah. All right. Now we go to, and obviously I heard every song, so I can't pick one. Signals, my least favorite one, Digital Man. I'm not a big fan of Digital Man. I don't like that song. My favorite one's probably Analog Kid, although I could say Subdivisions too. And the one song that I wish I could have heard live, Losing It. And I could have heard it. If I would have tried to get one single ticket and gone to the Toronto show, I would have heard it. Favorite song? Oh, this one's so hard too. I really wish I didn't have to pick this, but I'm gonna have to. My favorite one from Grace Under Pressure is Between the Wheels, and I don't hate the song, but my least favorite one's probably Red Sector A. It's just, I know I have to pick a least favorite one, but I love Between the Wheels. One song I wish I could hear live that I never did was, you got it, The Enemy Within. My favorite song that I heard live from, or my least favorite one I heard from Power Windows, it got really annoying fast, Territories. And the song that I probably loved was Middletown Dreams. And the song I wish I could hear live from that one, well, there's only one because they never play it live, and it's the only song I didn't hear, which was none other than Emotion Detector, so I gotta say that. Okay, my favorite song from Hold Your Fire. I could say Time Stands Still, but I'm going to say Forest 10. My least favorite song from that album, Mission. The one I wish I could hear live, Lock and Key. And then finally, we go to our final one. I'm sorry, not final one yet. Presto, my favorite one, The Pass. I don't hate this song, but my least favorite one would have to be Presto. The one song I wish I could hear live, I guess Scars. My favorite song that I heard live from Roll the Bones. This was so hard. I hated doing this because it was so hard. And I'm like, oh man, I really don't know. It was so hard. I could have picked any one of them. But my favorite one was probably Dreamline, just because I love the lasers. I love what they did. That's why I picked Dreamline. My least favorite one, probably Where's My Thing, although it's not a horrible song. And then the one song I wish I could have heard live was Ghost of a Chance, because I was late. Oh well. All right, my favorite song from Counterparts, probably Stick It Out. My least favorite one was probably Leave That Thing Alone, although I do like that song. The one song I wish I could hear live was Cut to the Chase. All right, Test for Echo. I can't pick a favorite or least favorite, so regardless of what way you do Resist. And then it would either be Driven or Test for Echo, but I don't know, maybe Time and Motion too. But those would probably be the only three I'd want to hear. If you pick any of the, I mean Limbo maybe too, but yeah, Limbo's the only instrumental I never heard live. All right, Vapor Trails. My favorite song was probably One Little Victory. My least favorite one, I don't hate it, but I'd probably have to say Secret Touch. And the one song I wish I could hear live, Ghost Rider. And then finally we go to Snakes. My favorite song, Faithless. My least favorite song, The Way the Wind Blows. And the one song I wish I could hear live, Good News First. My favorite song from Clockwork Angels, The Anarchist. My least favorite one, Halo Effect or Seven Seas of Gold. And the one song I wish I could have heard live was probably, I'm going to say BU2B2 because it's the only one that they didn't play live. So, thank you guys. And like I said, Rush has been a very important part of my life. They were the first band I ever seen live. That's why they have to be my favorite. They're better than ABCD, that's for sure, which is that gay band, acdc. Let me ask you something. If you like acdc, why don't you just have somebody scream in your ear for like 10 minutes? That's literally what you're listening to when you listen to acdc. That's literally what you are listening to when you listen to that gay band. That's why I don't know why people listen to that. It's like, It's literally acdc right there. That's all they're doing is when they're singing. They're screaming. And I can't stand that shit. It's so annoying. Like, why don't you just have somebody scream in your face for like a whole minute? That's literally acdc. Yep.